Hey everyone, I'm Mariana and I am back with another Best of the Decade Top 10. Today we are talking about the best, in my opinion, love stories of the 2010s. I know romance is not a topic that comes up on my channel often, it's just not my genre, and I am going to warn you right away, this is not top 10 rom-coms, even though there are a couple of movies on this list that could be described that way. But I think most of us can appreciate a great love story, and that is what I wanted to focus on today. Each of these films really spoke to me and affected me personally, and of course, I would love to know what your top 5 or top 10 love stories are when you think of films that came out in the past 10 years. So let's get started. At number 10, I'm kicking off this list with The Big Sick. I did not know what I was getting myself into when I went to see this film. I kind of assumed this was going to be a pretty standard romantic comedy, but it ended up being so much more than I expected. Written by Kumail Nanjiani and his wife Emily, the film is based on the pretty crazy real-life events of their romance. There is a surprising amount of realistic drama in The Big Sick, whether it comes to family matters, relationships, or cultural differences. Plus, the chemistry between the two leads is just perfect. The movie will make you laugh, but it is also filled with wonderful, honest scenes that ring true. It's smart, it's heartfelt, it's different, and unfortunately, I feel like it flew under the radar for a lot of people out there, so if you haven't seen this one, it's definitely worth your time. For number 9, I'm going with Call Me By Your Name, a beautiful story of first love that really surprised me by capturing that feeling of young summer romance. It absolutely put me in a very specific mood because of how well it was able to convey that feeling. Call Me By Your Name intertwines the romance with a coming-of-age story, often in a very poetic way. I think it's impossible to watch this film and not feel for Elio, Timothée Chalamet's character. It's all about the emotional journey, but also don't be surprised when a monologue from his father hits you unlike anything else. Plus, it really transports you into summer Italy of the 1980s. The sense of time and place in this film is incredible. And combined with the warmth of the filming style and the wonderful soundtrack, this film is guaranteed to pull you into its mood and have you reminiscing to the first time you thought you were in love. At number 8 is one of the worst date movies of all time, Blue Valentine. Hey, I never said these were going to be happy love stories. Blue Valentine is not an easy watch, and if you were to tell me that this film is a little bit much for you, I would completely understand because it is pretty depressing. But it's also great. The film switches between two timelines, showing a relationship as it begins and a marriage as it ends, and the contrast of the two is absolutely heartbreaking, particularly because of the amazing performances by Ryan Gosling and Michelle Williams. This is a powerful, emotional drama that's often raw and brutally honest. And I'm not going to lie, there are parts of Blue Valentine that make me feel uncomfortable, but that's also what makes this film so great. While we do get a look at how love blossoms for this couple, we also see how this love fades when the film faces us with that not so happily ever after that most of us would rather not think about. But wow, is this an amazing film. Coming in at number 7 is the perfect cure for how depressed you're going to be after watching Blue Valentine, and that is About Time. Longtime viewers of my channel were waiting for this one to show up on this list, I am sure. First of all, great cast here with Rachel McAdams, Donald Gleason, and Bill Nighy. The family relationships at the core of this are wonderful. The story is so heartfelt, and of course, I cannot say no to a film that involves time travel. It's just a case of a really well done, feel-good movie with a nice message at the end. About Time is probably the most rom-com film on this list, but I do love it so much much, and it's definitely one of my most rewatched films because it just never fails to put me in a better mood. At number 6 is one of my favorite movies to watch around the holiday season, and that is Silver Linings Playbook. I don't know if I've ever spoken about this film on my channel. It came out way before I started making videos, and maybe I should review some holiday favorites this year because I don't think you guys know how much I love this one. What I love about this film is how it approaches difficult, important topics while making them part of everyday life. It talks about trying to take the next step in life and how recovery is not a straight line. It captures ups and downs while keeping it grounded, and the chemistry between the two leads as well as the family dynamics of the supporting cast are just something else, which is really important to the story. Also, did I mention this was really funny? Silver Linings Playbook is filled with irony, which is how it maintains that delicate balance between comedy and not actually making light of the topic of mental illness, because when you think about it, a lot of this film is still heartbreaking. Just another thing that makes it great. At number 5 is one of my favorite films of 2015, something that I've seen 5 times at this point, I believe, and that is Brooklyn. Aside from being a great film and a great love story, this is also one of those rare film adaptations that is actually better than the book that it's based on. This is the story of a young Irish immigrant who comes to New York in the 1950s and has to start a new life after leaving her family behind. If you've ever felt homesick, this film is guaranteed to tug at your heartstrings, and with leads like Saoirse Ronan and Emery Cohen, I just don't think your emotional state stands a chance. As an immigrant myself, although not Irish and obviously not in the 1950s, but still, this of course holds a very special place in my heart. But I really do think almost anyone would love this film, and its charm is next to impossible to resist. Just talking about this one makes me want to drop everything and go rewatch it. Coming in at number 4 is the stunning sci-fi romantic drama Her. I already mentioned this film in my top 10 sci-fi films of the 2010s, but I just could not leave this one off the list because of how great of a film it is, because it's one of the most unique love stories you'll ever see, and it's just one of my all-time favorites. Her is the story of a lonely man who falls in love with his AI virtual assistant. It's a film that is futuristic in a subtle way, and the themes here are painfully relevant and incredibly universal because it's all about the struggles of connecting with other people. It's beautiful and melancholic. It features one of the best performances from Joaquin Phoenix, and it's one of those films that is going to stick with you for a while after you watch it. I love when a film is able to take a genre and approach it in a new, fresh, interesting way, and Spike Jonze does exactly that with Her. It's an absolutely brilliant film. We are now at the top 3, and I bet you guys can guess at least one of these, but don't forget to leave your picks for the best love stories of the decade in the comments. Also, if you missed my previous best of the decade videos, I will leave a link to those in the info box below, and make sure you are subscribed to my channel and have your notifications on so you don't miss future best of the decade top 10s. I have a few more interesting topics to cover, including best mysteries/thrillers, best dramas, and of course, best horror, which obviously you want to stick around for. But back to the love stories. At number 3, I have The Handmaiden, a fascinating and absolutely stunning film from Park Chan-wook. This is not the type of film you are going to come across very often because, let's be real, an erotic psychological thriller is not your run-of-the-mill genre. The Handmaiden is one of those films that's really difficult to describe without giving spoilers, and I truly do believe you should go into it knowing as little as possible. The reason is that the film reveals itself in 3 different layers, and each of these parts makes you see the events from a different perspective. The story unfolds in the first half of the 20th century in Japanese-occupied Korea, and if stories that revolve around secrets and scheming are your thing, you don't want to miss this one. The Handmaiden is simply great storytelling, and the romance unfolds in a way that you do not expect. Not to mention, this film is beyond gorgeous from the visual perspective. It's pretty much a must-watch. For number 2, I am going with the beautiful and devastating Cold War. This is my favorite film of 2018. I was completely floored by it when I first saw it, and even after rewatching it, I actually have a hard time articulating my feelings. The story is about a musical ensemble director and a young singer who fall in love, but their relationship is volatile and complicated by their circumstances. We see them drift apart and come together again over and over through the years, while everything else fades into the background. Cold War is something that feels and looks like a classic with gorgeous black and white cinematography and powerful performances. It's a film that pretty much left me speechless both times I watched it. It's a powerful and emotional experience for anyone who has ever been in love, but it is also a timeless and beautiful story that wastes 0 time. Finally, at number 1 is, of course, La La Land. Did you guys guess that one? Let me know. It's no secret that this film swept me off my feet when I saw it. I saw it twice in theaters and have rewatched it multiple times since then, and I absolutely love it. This is the case of everything coming together as it should in a film. The perfect chemistry between the leads, the vibrant visuals, the music, the tone, the story itself. It's romantic without being cliche. It's driven by an irresistible energy, and I think it's relatable for anyone who's ever been motivated by their dreams and ambitions, which is a challenging road to stick to. It's honestly a film I can't see myself getting tired of. I will definitely be watching La La Land 20 years from now, and I'm sure I will still love it just as much as I do now. This is easily one of my all-time favorite films. It is going to stand the test of time, and I have no doubt that this is the love story of the past decade. And that's it for this top 10 of my favorite love stories of the 2010s. Let me know what you guys thought in the comments below. And of course, thank you so much for watching. Thank you to everyone who watched this video. A special thank you to all of my patrons, and an extra special thank you to the patrons whose names are on the screen right now. I appreciate every single one of you so much. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up, share it, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, turn on notifications, and I hope you're having a wonderful day. I will see you very soon in my next video. Bye!